Oracle Data Integrator, it is an ELT tool. Generally, there are many ETL tools are there in the market. While you are comparing the ELT tool with the ETL tools, the execution which takes the ELT tool is faster when it's comparing with the ETL tools. Like there are many products are there under the ETL tools like Informatica, DataStage. Like that, there are many tools are there in the market. But the approach, the architecture which they use in the ODA is different. It uses an approach called as a ELT. As ELT stands for extract, loading, and it can do the transformation. Extract, loading, and transformation. Because of this approach of the ELT approach, the executions was going to be taken faster. The advantage with the ODA tool with comparing with the other tools, the execution where it takes faster and it contains a much flexibility to define your mappings and does not require any additional infrastructures is not required. Whereas if you go ahead with other ETL tools, they are required to have a servers to execute your transformations. And that their proprietary engines, the transformations has to be executed. But when you compare in the ODI, doesn't require any additional infrastructure. All the transformations are pushed to the database, and the executions will be taken care of the database itself. Because of that, and the ODA doesn't require any additional infrastructure is not required, like a servers to execute the transformations. This is a ODA tool. When you're talking the ODA tool, we had four different components we have. This is a topology navigator. From this only we are going to define the infrastructure where you want to connect. Those infrastructure details we are going to define in the topology navigator. If you see here in this topology navigator, we had a physical technologies. Under the technologies, if you go and expand, these are all the different technologies where we can connect in the ODA projects, and we can use them as a source or as well as the targets we can use. These are the different technologies where we can be connected as a source or targets in your ODA. For example, if we see a Oracle, and this Oracle I can define my source and targets whichever you want to use, that I can define under the technology I can define it. We call this as a data service, and if you see for example Oracle underscore org sales is one data server, and if we expand we can see a physical schema under the data server. Like that we can define the multiple data servers we can define. Under the data servers we are going to have the physical schemas where we need to extract the data from this schema, and you want to be loaded to some place you want to load it. For example, I want to load the data from a orders schema which is in the data server orders data server, and I want to load the data into my sales. I want to load it. These are all the data servers where you need to connect. Those things we need to define in your topology navigator. We need to define it. And logical architecture is the one which we use it at the design time. We use a logical architecture, and when you are implementing, we are going to tell at which context where do you want to implement, and we can implement at the different context. For example, I had a different context where I want to implement. I can define here, for example, like a development context, maybe at the different schema places I want to implement. If it is a production, I want to use it in the different context, the different data servers I need to connect. Those things I can define in the in the context I can define, and in the logical architecture I can define a logical architecture we can define. Like in your infrastructure details, we are going to use a client component called topology navigator, and we define the infrastructure, we define it. For example, this is the data server, and here we can test it whether we are able to connect to your data server or not. We can test it from here. We can test, and and as a successful connection, that means as we are able to connect to your data server. Not only the Oracle, we can connect to the flat file, XML, MySQL, SQL server, like the different technologies which we can be able to connect, and you can use them as a source or target. Once if you use the topology, generally that means the topology navigator will be mainly useful by the administrators. They use to define the infrastructure. And then another component called as a designer. Designer is a component where the developers can define the mappings and all those stuff. They can define with help of the designer. They can do it. Under this we had a projects. If we expand the projects, we can create a multiple folders under the project, and here we can define the interfaces. We can define here the interface is the one we are going to tell how to extract the data and how to load the data into your target. You can define in the interfaces, but before you defining how to extract and how to load the data, we need to define the models. We need to define based on your technology where you want to connect. Based on that, we create a model. Model is nothing but the metadata information we are going to create in the ODI. Your schema metadata information we are creating in the ODI. By that, we use this metadata information later while you are defining your interfaces. For example, if you see, orders is the one model we created, and the model we can see these are all the different data stores. The data stores is similar to your tables in your database. In ODI we call them as a data stores, and we can use this data stores in your interfaces. We can use, by that I can extract the data from these data sources and I can load the data into the data sources. And in the model itself, if you want to check whether it contains data or not, if you want to check, we can check the data. For example, right click on this and go with the view data, and where I can see whether it contains the data or not, I can check it from the place here. We can see the data as well. Like this, we need to create a model. First, the topology navigator, we need to define the infrastructure. The next, we need to define the model. Once if we define the model, we can define a interface. We can define, for example, interface is the place where we can tell how to extract the data and how to load the data into your target place. That we can define in my interface. And now you check it. Now this is the place where we can define the interface. If you go to the mapping tab, we can see it, what is your source table and what is your target table. For example, country is my source table, and I am going to load this data into my target country. I am loading it. This is my source table, you can see in the left side, and target table you can see in the right side. And here I am not doing any transformation. The country ID value directly I am loading into my target place, and country values I am loading into the target. These are the values which I have. I can see the data from here. These are the different records which I have in this, and these records I can store it into my target place. And if you go to the flow tab, you can see how the flow of data was going to be happen. You can see it from the flow tab. So as the data is loading from the source to the staging area, and from staging area the data is loading into my target place. And as here the case, we have taken the staging area in my target database. We have taken. It's not compulsory to have the target area only the staging. We can define the staging in any area. You can define even the source. We can define, or even the third party area also we can define the staging area. To load the data from the source to staging area, we use an LKM. As a load knowledge module is useful to load the data from source to staging area. We use the LKM knowledge modules. The knowledge modules are the many code templates are available. Based on this knowledge module only, the code which has to be executed on the databases was going to be generated. The load knowledge modules, they had a different knowledge modules are there. In that load knowledge modules is useful to define a code which is used to generate the code based on your knowledge module template. Here we are using loading the data from the SQL to Oracle. That is a knowledge module we used. Based on this, the code was going to be generated to load the data from your source system to the staging area. And if you click on the target, I can see a knowledge module, IKM knowledge module. This we call as a integration knowledge module. Integration knowledge module is useful to get the data from staging area to final target table. Like this, many knowledge modules are available, and these knowledge modules we choose as a code template to generate the codes. Because as we are using a GUI and we are defining these interfaces, this has to be converted into the code. Converting this knowledge module, converting into the code was going to be done by this knowledge module. There are many knowledge modules defined and made it available by the Oracle. We can use those knowledge modules, and still if you want to do some customization or if you want to extend your knowledge modules, we can do it as well, those knowledge module customization. IKM knowledge module is useful to load the data from staging area to target area. This is the way the interface is defined, and this interface is which can be able to extract the data and load the data into my target place. And if you want to do any transformation, I can do the transformations as well. I can do it. That we can define in my mapping. I can define any transformation. For example, the country value. Rather than loading directly the country, I want to make these values in the uppercase. I want to make it, or lowercase I want to make. That I can do it from the transformation ability. For example, there the first letter is uppercase, but I want to make all letters as an uppercase. If I want to make, I can use here upper, or I can go to the expression builder. Here I can do it, or I can make it as a upper. By that, when the data is loading into my target place, it was going to make it as an uppercase, and those data was going to be loaded into my target place. Like that, I can do any transformations. I can do it, and I want to use it. I can use this expression builder. I can use any functions what I want to use. I can use any functions. I can use it. And this ODI, we are going to have the contents. We'll discuss around 40 hours is the duration of this course, and around 30 to 40% will be the theoretical discussions, and we have an assignments which you can do on your own. These are all the topics we are going to cover as a part of your ODI. We're going to see how to install the product, and we had a repositories where the repositories the metadata information was going to be stored, like your topology if you use it, or you use a designer to define your infrastructure with the topology, or the designer if you define your interfaces and all those stuff. It was going to be stored in the repositories. We'll see how we can create these repositories and what are the different types of repositories we see, and how the topology can be defined. Those topics we are going to cover, and we'll see how to create a model, how to create a new projects, and how to create your models and your data stores, and how to create your interfaces. Like we are going to see, the interface is the main heart in the ODI, where there we are going to tell how to extract, how to load the data, and how to do the transformations. We are going to define it, and we can define some procedures in your ODI. We'll see how the procedures can be defined. We'll see the packages, how we can define the package. Package is like a a group of interfaces you can call in your ODI, we can call it. For example, as we can have a multiple interfaces can be called in the package, we can call it. This is the place I can call any multiple interfaces where I can call in my package, I can call it. I can call multiple interfaces in my package and I can connect it. Like this we can connect. One step is finished. What next interface you want to call? Like that we can call the interface in your packages, we can call. And they had many ODA tools are there. Even we can call those ODA tools in your package, we can call. Like they had many tools for different purpose, we can use the different tools. These all the tools also we can add. For example, I want to send an email, I can use a tool called ODA send email tool. This is a send email tool, we can use it. By that, with the help of this tool, I can send an email to my administrator. That means if it is a success, I'm going to go ahead with the next step. But if it is a failure, I want to send an email, I want to send it. Then I can connect it like this. If any of this interface is successful, it go with the next path. If the interface is failure, it comes to here and it can be used to send the email. Here I can configure from to which mail ID you want to send, to whom you want to send, what subject you want to have. These all things I can configure here. By that I can use this tool to send the email alert to my administrators. I can send it. Like this we can create a packages, we can create where in the packages where we can call your interfaces, procedures, and as well as the ODA tools you can call in your packages. We are going to see how to define these packages, we are going to see it. And we have load plans is the place where we can define what all the interfaces you want to execute, what packages you want to execute, whether you want to execute serially or parallelly. Those are all the things we can define in the load plans. We are going to see how to define the load plans as well. This is the place I can define the load plans. We are going to see how we can call your interfaces or packages, how we can procedures, how we can call, and whether it should be called in the serially or parallelly. For example, if you see here, the interface is calling in the serially, it is calling after the interface 1, the interface 2, after that interface 3 is getting executed. But if I want to execute these interfaces in the parallelly, those things I can define in my load plan, I can define it. This is the place I can define a load plan. I can define a parallel step. And I can tell what type of step I want to have it. For example, the serial step. Here we can define. Here you can tell if you want to add some scenarios. If you want to execute, I can generate the scenarios as well, and I can attach the scenarios here. This, for example, I want to have interface. I want to generate a scenario of interface 1, and I want to use that one. The scenario based on the interface 1 that can be executed, and similar way I can have interface 2. Both this interface 1 and 2 was going to be executed parallelly. It was executed like this. We can tell how we want to execute, whether the serially or parallelly. That we can define in this load plans. We can define. We are going to see how to define the load plans. We are going to see it. In ODI, we use the version controlling, and we can have the multiple versions we can create. Whenever we are trying to modify any bigger changes we are trying to create, we create a version, and then we are going to go ahead with the multiple changes. By that, anytime if changes goes wrong, we can roll it back, but using a version controlling, we can go it back. For example, if we see interface, and I can create a version on this any object in the ODI. We can create a version. By that, after creating a version, I can go ahead with making a modifications. Anytime if you want to think it, you want to go back to the old version, I can restore it to the old version. We'll discuss more about how we can use the version controlling. We are going to discuss it. And we'll discuss the scenarios. Scenarios are the compiled code. Like in the development environment, we define the interfaces, packages, and all those stuff. But when the production environment, rather than moving your interfaces, packages, and all those code, you move only the compiled code that we are going to done with help of the scenarios. Scenarios will be deployed to your production environment. Only scenarios will be available, and we can schedule those scenarios, how the execution has to be taken place. That can be defined on my target. We can define it. That means in your production environment, we can tell your scenarios and which order you want to execute. That we can define it. And we can enforce the data quality. We'll see how we can enforce the data quality. The database level, we may have some rules. It may be defined in your source application, but apart from that source application rules which you define in the database, if you want to define some additional rules, if you want to define, we can define those rules, and only the rule passed records only can be loaded into my target place. We'll see how we can maintain the data quality in the ODI. We'll see about that. The CDC as a change data capture. As the first time we are going to load the full records. After the first load, only the incremental data you require to be loaded into the target place. As a change data capture, only the records changed after the previous run, only those records has to be loaded into the target place. We'll see how we can implement the CDC in the ODI, and how we can change only the records which changed after the previous run, how we can load the data into the target place. We'll discuss that. And operator is the place where we can see how the execution is taken place, whether this execution is successful or not. Those things, as we can see it from the operator, we can see it. This is security navigator is the one where we can define your users or the profiles. The users can access what metadata objects. Those all the things we are going to define in your security navigator. We'll see how we can use the security navigator to define our own users and what are the different objects where they can access. Those are all the things we are going to define in the security navigator. We'll see how it can be used to define your security of users. We're going to see it. And we'll see how this web services, how the web services are useful, and how ODA can call the external web services, or else how we can make your ODA as a service to be provided to the external applications. We'll see those web services also in this case, like how we can call the external web services in your ODA, or else how your ODA can be made as a service available to the external applications. And the ODA agents can be hosted on your WebLogic. As it is hosted on the WebLogic, we had a tools called as the ODA console, where it can be used as a web-based tool to see your metadata definitions. We can use the ODA console to view the definitions. And the enterprise manager, we had a plugin which can able to use to start or stop your agents, that we can do it. The agent is the one component we have in the ODA, that is a lightweight Java program which is responsible of initializing your integration process was going to be done by the agent. Agent is a lightweight Java program which is responsible of initializing your integration process. And these agents, we can have the schedule agent, by that the scheduled time it can execute the jobs. Generally, in the development environment, we'll have the ordinary agents, and in the production, we'll have the scheduling agents. Whereas in the agents, we have two types of agents. We have standalone agent and Java enterprise agent. Whereas this Java enterprise agent was going to be deployed on your WebLogic server. We'll discuss how to create these agents and how we can deploy this agent to your WebLogic. Those things also we are going to discuss as a part of the training. These are the contents mainly as we are going to discuss. Generally, the class will follow as a theoretical discussion and an assignments, and based on your assignments feedback, and if you have any questions, those things will be discussed, and we are going to go ahead with the next module discussion. Roughly it takes around 40 hours to complete this training.